Thanks again for joining us for the NET Pathify launch. We're so excited to show you today what we have in store. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. For the agenda, we have 4 easy main topics: introductions, introducing each other as we go, what is Pathify, we'll talk about the service evaluation process, and then how to engage, how to get started with the NET Pathify program. Moving forward into introductions. Like I said, we have a plethora of wonderful men and women up here talking today about NET Pathify, whether they're from Pathify, a university, or from Internet2. We're here to monitor a chat, and let's get this party started. So my first speaker I'm going to introduce is Louie. Louie, please take it away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to see the little chat blowing up. Before I get started, I do want to make sure that you're aware of some awesome resources that we have supporting us on the chat on the Pathify side today. We have Julie Gummerman, who is our senior sales engineer, and Matt Hammond, our chief revenue officer. They are so brilliant. They are practically royalty, so definitely take advantage of the fact that they're here to be able to get some of your questions answered, and don't be shy. So we'll be monitoring that. So what do we do here at Pathify? Well, we solve this picture for universities. We have found that most institutions have an ever-expanding universe of stuff like this that students and constituents have to hunt and peck and poke their way through. And while this may have worked 20 years ago, institutions have become much more complex. They've also become vastly more digital. New systems are coming online all the time, housing more and more information and data than ever before. Everything from paper forms, files, calendars, to-dos, handbooks, catalogs, and communications, and the list goes on and on and on. And I'm sure you're aware of that. Institutions, in order to help with this, have added the student portal, right? This is a word that is now widely misused and confused. So traditional student portals tend to be one of 2 things: either the front end for a specific system, or it's something more like a link farm, if you know what I'm talking about, routing users out to other systems, creating that treasure hunt even more. Next slide, please, Jenna. Well, the short answer is that we are the unifying layer that brings your entire tech stack into one. And I know it's another kind of trendy phrase lately that's often misused, but we function as that single pane of glass that brings your digital universe into a single individualized experience. We meet each user where they're at, surfacing the appropriate resources for where they are in their journey, whether that's a prospect, a freshman, transfer student, student getting ready to graduate, a parent, or even faculty and staff. There have been some questions around whether Pathify replaces major systems at an institution like the SIS or the LMS or the CRM. The answer to that is no. We integrate information from those systems into our platform. The systems that we replace are the duplicative front-end engagement experience systems. So rather than having a portal for students and a separate mobile app for students and a separate portal for parents, for prospect students, etc., we're saying that you can get rid of those point solutions and have just the one single pane of glass, which sits atop your remaining technology ecosystem, like the SIS, LMS, CRM, financial aid system, email, etc. And it integrates and surfaces information from those other places. Next slide, please. Pathify is on a mission to simplify the college experience by providing a modern engagement hub, purpose-built for higher education. And you might notice the platform actually looks like it was built in this century, which is pretty nice too. And for a student's entire life cycle, prospect to alumni to everything in between, even their parents with our Delegate Hub, Pathify offers the modern consumer-grade experience that they're accustomed to. Key information is surfaced from other places, and they're nudged towards important updates, and they can quickly find anything they're looking for in one place. No more wild goose chases or fool's errands to find what matters, right? And this goes for institutions too. Pathify modernizes their digital experience while consolidating a host of constituent-facing systems, saving everyone time, reducing cost, and better connecting everyone with the things they need to be successful. Next slide, please. So is your digital experience reflecting your institution the way that you envision? Why settle for outdated interfaces when students and faculty and staff expect sleek, intuitive design in today's age? Deliver a user experience that meets and exceeds their expectations with seamless, modern UX and UI across both web and mobile. You can simplify the journey, eliminate the friction, and give your users the cohesive experience that they deserve. Because in today's world, simplicity isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Next slide, please. You've likely picked up by now that Pathify takes on an entirely different approach. We flip the idea of a portal on its head by connecting and surfacing personalized information in the way, the modern way the constituents expect. Okay, now that you've got some quick context, let's switch gears into why institutions choose Pathify. And this is put together based off of conversations with the market and with our customers that we have worked with. So if you'll click Jenna, number one is our mission. Our mission is to make the student experience as connected and seamless as possible. So no other higher ed solution connects the breadth of information that Pathify does, whether it's key information housed in other systems, forms, announcements, tasks, files, calendars, and more. Constituents can find anything they're looking for in Pathify, not only by surfacing dynamic and relevant information to users on a dashboard, but by empowering them to get accurate and personalized answers with a conversational Gen AI chatbot, which we just recently released. Next one. Number two is independence. Unlike portals connected to the SIS and other SIS company solutions, Pathify is an agnostic front end that allows you to add or replace any tool without having to worry about the impact on your portal and your mobile app experience. Several of our customers are undergoing the heavy lift of migrating SIS in the background while maintaining an elegant and consistent front-end experience for students. And number three, a key differentiator for us is our proprietary middleware layer, Flow. It's a tongue twister. Integrations are huge, right? And this is built out over the last 6 years. Flow houses the largest and ever-expanding set of out-of-the-box integrations with higher ed's most popular systems. And yes, I do mean out of the box. It is wild. It is amazing what our team has been able to create with that. Number four are the features. So once you dig into the Pathify platform, you'll see how Pathify completely separates itself in this area. We offer the deepest portal functionality that exists in higher ed today. Number five is design. Short and simple, the UI and the UX of university systems gives a big impression of how much our institution cares about the student experience. And one of the most easy and cost-effective ways to show that your institution does care and hold high regard for the student experience is through polished and modern design and user experience. Number six, goodbye point solutions. Pathify is a single platform for everyone. Institutions don't need a different constituent-facing solution for each stage of the journey. So prospects, parents, students, staff, faculty, and alumni. Pathify provides the single platform for everyone by bringing everything and everyone together in one place. But it has the capability to adapt for each user's needs, building a custom-tailored experience as unique as my fingerprint or your fingerprint and more. Number seven, this one's pretty big. Save money. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, this is huge, right? The majority of the institutions in the higher ed market have really tight budgets. We know that. We're hearing more and more that many institutions can actually save money by using our platform through consolidation of other redundant tools. And then finally, customer experience. While it's almost a cliche at this point, we do find that many customers are truly looking for a partner rather than another vendor. Pathify is full of people that value excellence in their work, and our team inspires customers and empowers them to stand out and create truly outstanding experiences and defy the previous standard of a link farm portal. Many of the decision makers across our customer base have commented that our partnership focus was a key factor in their decision to choose Pathify, and they stand by that decision today. And now, I would like to introduce you all to someone that you likely already know. She has been an integral part of Pathify's journey up to this point. We are so, so grateful. Tara, take it away.
Thanks, Louie. It's been a pleasure to work with Louie and the Pathify team. The NET Plus service evaluation process is very intensive, and it requires both our community member engagement, but also on the service provider side, a true partner to go through the steps. And what I just want to highlight for a few minutes here is what it really means that Pathify is now a NET Plus service, and the process that they went through that really is significant and means a lot. We have a very limited number of programs in the NET Plus portfolio, and that's by design. We'd like to choose things that are highly valuable to the research and education community in terms of whether it's an unmet service that they need for specific technology, the complexity of all these different systems that Louie was just describing. I think we can agree that there has been an unmet need for this type of broad platform to meet several needs in the campus environment. In some cases, we introduce a new NET Plus service because of a challenge with an existing supplier, and that could be anything from contract terms and pricing to the relationship and product development, roadmap work, anything where the research and education community can work together and collaborate to make a service better for the entire community. And what we're going to hear about a little bit more today is when you have at least 5 Internet2 member institutions that are willing to work on a service evaluation, that's how we get the valuable collateral and best practices, documentation that can be shared across the community, both through the service evaluation, but it's ongoing. It doesn't end there. Next slide, please. So when we're looking at a potential NET Plus service offering, there are some certain things that we have across all of our services that to make it consistent and expectations that we have in the community for what it means to be a NET Plus service. The first step that we've been taking in the last couple of years now that we have the Internet2 Cloud Scorecard is to have the service provider fill out the Cloud Scorecard questionnaire to participate in that program initially so that we can get an idea of where they stand on some of these key characteristics and requirements in the community. And so Pathify did that very early on. They were one of our pilot participants. Pathify also became an industry member in Internet2. So they were getting engaged with the community early on and frequently. And that helped build some of those relationships that have carried us through the service evaluation as well. Next slide, please. So speaking of the service evaluation, I have to thank these universities. We had 6 participate throughout the NET service evaluation, bringing each of their own unique experiences and needs. Evaluating things around accessibility, having Gallaudet participate was very important. Having an institution like Utah State or University of Denver that have been customers of Pathify for a couple of years gave us a lot of insight into how the service could be used and how adaptable it was for growth and new product development. So I want to go ahead and introduce someone that's been very integral in the process to talk a little bit about the NET Plus service evaluation and what it meant for his institution to participate. So Lauren Malm, take it away.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Malm, and I have the great good fortune to serve as the Vice President of Information Technology and CIO at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. And as Tara was saying, we also had the great good fortune, I had the great good fortune to serve as part of the service evaluation process for the Pathify environment. And as Tara was saying, it's a very intensive process. It's a long process. It was really interesting and insightful. And we got a lot of information about it. And also met some great people. But I'll talk about more of that in a minute. I'm going to start off and just tell you a little bit about our journey. So this is how we came to have Pathify at Ball State. We knew that we needed to replace our campus portal and our mobile environment. Our portal was, it was okay. It was pretty much a link farm, but it didn't really do a lot more than that, but nobody really complained about it. Our big problem was our mobile environment really wasn't that robust. We just didn't have that much to offer in the mobile space, and we knew we wanted to do that, and we wanted it to be more than a link farm. We wanted it to be very functional, and we wanted it to do what Louis was describing before, which is we wanted it to bring together all these information systems and present them in a single pane of glass to a user, so that even though they were separate systems, it looked very much like they were one, and the experience was that they were very integrated and supported each other rather than being just different places you had to go out and search for things. So bringing those most important elements of those systems together and displaying them in a common environment, that was a really important feature that we wanted to look at. So to do that, there's a market out there of different service providers that, claim that they're able to do this. We had to bring together a lot of different stakeholders from a lot of different areas. So when you're talking about systems that span the entire institution, so you've got housing, the academic side of the house, you've got student affairs, student recreation services, lots of different areas that are stakeholders in this environment. And we brought together, this is primarily the IT team and the Marcom team led this. But we brought together stakeholders from an entire group. So we probably had a good 50 people across our institution representing lots of different areas, lots of different stakeholders. And then in addition to that, because this is student facing, we brought our student technology advisory group together. And this is about 60 students who have professed to have an interest in technology, things we do at the university. And we invited them to come in and be part of that evaluation. So they attended the finalists' presentations. I think I don't know if the Pathify folks were surprised or not, but when we brought up kind of the presentation and the highlights, we had, a good 60 students in that room participating in that, seeing the demonstrations, and then giving us feedback, what their impressions and what their experience was. We also had our digital accessibility services team involved in that. So we have inside of IT, there's a digital accessibility services office. They evaluate all the software that we use at the institution. We brought the students from that program into that evaluation process very early and had them go through, a pretty substantial involved evaluation of every tool that was in our finalist category to give us their feedback on those from an accessibility standpoint. And then finally, we have a group called the Digital Core. The Digital Core is a group of student employees, about 70 students in that group that do work for us in various technology things. And they're a kind of an internal agency that provides services to the institution. So that group had students from that group involved as well, part of that team that did the evaluation. Overwhelmingly, everyone, we had a unanimous, support for moving forward with the Pathify environment, and we did that. So that implementation, that was about a 3-month process in all to do all the evaluation across the board for everything we needed to do to make that selection. And then it took us about 4 months to do the implementation. Again, this was led primarily by IT and Marcom. We did all the heavy lifting in the background on that because there's a lot of integration work you have to do, as they were talking about. So a lot of that's that kind of work. Then there's also, marketing and communications and things that have to be done. And so we partnered with the Marcom team to do that piece of the work. So that was kind of and that took about 4 months to do that initial implementation. And then if you go to the next slide there, there's just a few quick stats on things of how it's working. That's a screenshot that I actually did out of my profile. Now, one of the interesting things you can do with Pathify is you have different profiles for different personas. So my profile doesn't look exactly like a student profile, which might not look like exactly like a visitor profile. So for example, like in a visitor profile, what we might want to do for an unauthenticated user is focus on things like we want the campus map, we want hours of operation, we want parking, we want things that you're going to have if you're a visitor, and put those services up front versus what I might see as an employee versus what a student might see as their default view as a student. So we built those personas out depending on who you were. Anyway, that's a little screenshot there. You can kind of see that. And it didn't take us long since, we've only had the launch going on since June. And since then we have, Ball State University has a total of about, we're an institution of about, 18,000 students. We've currently got over 18,000 active users in the environment, which is, really good adoption for a 6-month time frame. The other interesting thing about that is since we're in the initial stages of implementation, we haven't turned off our old portal yet. So all those 18,000 users have essentially opted into this environment. Okay, so they don't have to use it if they don't want to. They could avoid it. They could go through our old portal if they don't, but they've selected and they've opted into that new environment and they're using it. And we're getting an average of about, over 4,000 daily sessions in that environment, which is also, that's really good usage and adoption. So we're seeing some good usage and adoption there. And then the total sessions since then, and you can just kind of see the usage over time has grown. So you can go on the next piece there. The final thing I want to talk about before I turn it over to Rainey from Utah State, but we'll do that in just a minute, is the NET Plus evaluation process and what that means to us. So this is what Tara was describing earlier. So for Ball State, we weren't able to go through that because it wasn't adopted yet, but we did it was interesting for us because we were in the middle, or in the beginning, I guess, part of the implementation when we started as a service evaluation partner and participated in that process. And again, as I said earlier, it was an interesting process. It was great. We learned a whole lot. But now that we've done all this hard work, now you can take advantage of it. And so you get, if you're not familiar with the NET Plus process, you get pre-negotiated contract terms. So as Tara mentioned, it's already done for you. There's no negotiation in the contract. Your legal team, you can just tell them to take a break because there's nothing they have to do on that contract other than sign on the dotted line, and you get the same terms that every other institution that signed up as a NET Plus partner get. You don't have to worry about pricing or haggling the deal. So you don't have to worry that somebody's getting a better deal than you. You're getting the same pricing as all the other NET Plus partners based on the schedule that they'll describe later, but it's all based on a formula and things that's public and you can see how it works. But you don't have to negotiate it. It's done for you. It's a done deal. There's no haggling in. You can do it quickly. So another real advantage of the NET Plus program is if you're trying to get this done, and you don't want to have to take 4 months or 3 months like we did to do the service evaluation or to do the RFP and evaluation internally, you can do that much more quickly and start focusing on building out your environment and having the benefits of it versus sloshing around with lots of different vendors and demos and things. You can move very quickly through that process. It can be done in days, not months. And then finally, the thing I would mention is the accessibility, integration, security. Those have been all peer vetted. So we did a lot of work at Ball State. You hear from Rainey in just a minute. Their universities, I know they did similar work in vetting these kinds of things. We had several schools that were on our service evaluation call that were focused on things like accessibility to make sure that the environment that we selected was accessible. So you get all that done for you. All that's been done for you by peers. It's all been peer vetted. And then NET Plus doesn't adopt those things unless they make it through that service evaluation process. All right, so that's a little bit about Ball State. And now I'm going to turn it over to Rainey from Utah State, and she can tell you about their journey at their institution.
Thank you, Lauren. Yes, hi everyone. I'm glad to be with you this day. I'm Rainey Eborn, and I am the Associate Vice President of Digital Transformation at Utah State University. And for those of you that are not familiar with Utah State University, we are in northern Utah on the corridor to Yellowstone National Park. And so we have a beautiful campus. And when I first came back to Utah State, I've kind of gone full circle. My goal was to help my students that weren't on campus to have that same wonderful, beautiful experience from an online perspective. And as I started looking at our tools and the things that we were doing, this was like in 2018 or so, we realized that we actually didn't have a really great, we were kind of lacking a platform that would allow us to be able to communicate with our stakeholders in a personalized and timely way. We really didn't have a great way to provide that really great, experience for our students. And then, of course, COVID hit. And so that actually expedited just things that we've done. So we've been actually an early adopter of Pathify for at least 4 years, going on 4 years now. So I feel like we've kind of grown up with Pathify a little bit because we did start early on with them. And we had about 10 big problems that we were trying to solve at our institution at the time. And those things were a great example is just we wanted to be able to provide a customizable, organized, intuitive, user-friendly experience online from a mobile perspective to just, on your desktop. We also wanted to be able to have calendaring features, but most importantly, we wanted our students to be able to connect with other students in a very engaging way, in a meaningful way, and in a secure, safe way. And we didn't really have a solution to do this. So we went forward with, looking for a solution, and we put out an RFP, and did all that hard work that we all know that we do in higher education, and we come up with all of the things we want. And on Pathify was really the solution that met our needs. However, at the time, they were not part of NET Plus and they were not part of Internet2. And so we had to do some of that hard work on our own, doing the security reviews and doing those things. And it was a wonderful experience. We've been, since we started in May of 2020, evaluating it, and then we literally went live with Pathify within 3 months. That was how fast the implementation was, and it was a fantastic experience for us. But with our partnership with Pathify, it's actually really helped us improve our platform, our engagement platform for our students. We kind of call it our gateway. It's a very mobile driven, even for our on-campus students, as well as our students across the nation that participate in online education, or else our students that are in the state out in rural areas that participate at our regional campuses. It brings everyone together in a central way to help them access resource and events and be able to personalize their experience so that they can get the most of connecting with each other on campus, as similar as to what Lauren was saying. We also, before that, had kind of a really great web page with a bunch of links on it. And this was able to help us connect things and to move things forward. And at this point, we've had a phenomenal user adoption with our students, in so much that the student have been talking about it so much that now our faculty and staff actually use it. It's not just a student platform, it's our university platform for our staff and faculty as well as our alumni community as we're working on. So just this year we do annual reports, and just this year we have over 6 million sessions going on. We have, it's very active. And what I feel really glad about going through this process with Internet2 and with NET Plus is I've been part of Internet in other places and at the university where I've had that advantage of knowing, oh, my peers have vetted this. They know this is really good. And so now that I feel that Pathify has done this, I feel even more confident in telling people, it's gone through this review process. And so our part of this review process that we just did over these last few months with Lauren is we really looked at the user experience aspect and provided feedback around usability, and as well as usability, as well as the security and the governance around that and how that works. And we had our accessibility officer review it, and we had a lot of people that put features into it. So we don't know that it's a very feature-rich tool set that really does connect all of the different things on campus so that you can provide that beautiful, delightful experience when you go online. And so we've been very happy to be part of this process, and I'm actually happy to answer any questions that you might have. But for us, it's been a really great process, and I was extremely impressed with the quality of my peers with Internet2 and NET Plus as we went through this. It was very thorough, and I was very impressed with. Now I have that security to know that the pricing is part of this package, because we really do value that in higher education. I can share it with my colleagues, and so we're very excited about that. And so we're really excited to be part of this. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to talk more about our experience. And I think I'll turn it back to Jenna now.
Yes, thank you so much, Rini and Lauren. Really appreciate you guys sharing your experience with our NET Plus team and Pathify. Heading into what really matters, I'm just kidding. heading into our NET Plus Pathify service offering, what's on the screen is a lot. It's a lot of bullet points, but I really want to highlight a few things that make the NET Plus Pathify program so special. As you know, in NET Plus, this is community-based. We're community-centered, and we want you guys to join our program to help really build Pathify as a product and each other as a university. So what Lauren and Rini just mentioned, how they are utilizing Pathify, is what other universities can come to find out. We really want everyone to know kind of the secrets, the tips, the tricks, and everything when it comes to the NET Plus Pathify program. Lauren did a great job at doing my job for me. He talked about the pre-negotiated contract. He talked about the FERPA compliance, everything that encapsulated what a NET Plus service evaluation is. And so through this, you have a 10% discount for higher ed members. You have at least a 10% discount for non-higher ed members, a la carte license, an annual increase capped at 5%, which is really great. A lot of our other programs kind of maneuver in the same way. And so that's what we're here for. We're here to help the universities at the end of the day get the best service they can out of Pathify. And so kind of moving on before our service evaluation wrap up question and answer, I just again want to thank every attendee that's here and all the panelists to talk about what the NET Plus Pathify service offering is, Pathify, how the universities are utilizing Pathify, and Internet2. So with that, here's some next steps and resources. If you're interested in the NET Plus Pathify program, we have a contract package waiting to be sent out. Please email us at netplus@internet2.edu. This will include our contract summary and our kind of like MSA on that. It'll also include some case studies and just a little bit more about Pathify. If you're interested in kind of pricing and anything of that sort, contact our friend Louie. She did a wonderful job at presenting earlier, and she is happy to help.
Just one question. How does the governance process for Pathify fit into overall institutional governance?
I'm happy
I
to
don't
take
know
that
if
question.
Rini might be the best situated to answer that.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm happy to take that question. It is actually really important to have governance around all of your technology initiatives, actually. I think that is from a CIO perspective. I think Lauren would probably agree with me that you do need to make sure that you do have a good governance. And so early on, from the very beginning, when we started our initiative, implementing Pathify and going live with it, we actually have our high-level stakeholders that are involved. We also have an advisory group, and from the get-go on the advisory group, there's a lot of students involved in that. And we also, as we look as features or requests for links and that are put into put into the product, we actually review those, and we actually review the data analytics behind those to make sure that that's what students are really looking for, because we like to follow the data and go and provide the resources that are truly relevant for the students just in time for what's going on. So a great example is that sometimes, like right during finals, we start providing a lot of resources and announcements in Pathify around test anxiety and wellness, or the testing center protocols, or the deadlines for finals. And so we use those as, we don't just add links, we actually look at the data, and we actually have an advisory group to provide the governance over the things that we do in the tool. And I think that's really important and has helped us be very successful in our usage and our user adoption strategy. So I think that, thank you, Patrick. He put the link into the way we're organized in the link in the chat. There is the governance body, but I'm happy to explain like each group and who it consists of. But we do have like directors of advising, and we have people in different campuses. We have our student body, some of our student body representatives, as well as we really provide a design thinking forward approach and actually going out and talking to our actual users. Like once a quarter, we go out and we sit down and we talk to the students and we say, hey, pull up my USU. What do you look at? What's your experience? What's painful? And we truly get feedback from the users, not just necessarily the people that think they know the users, because that's, I think, really valuable. So that's how we approach it.
And I just want to mention one more thing. We hear this a lot from universities, is how you guys can get involved with you know, a NET Plus service evaluation or other things that are happening around the Internet2 or NET Plus community. And I'll go ahead and drop that link in the chat right now. But we have a wiki page that kind of shows you like what's on our radar, what's upcoming for us, and how you guys could help us, join us, or be a part of this process. So if you want to be one of those universities that help vet processes and help your peers all around the nation and even the world, then this is a perfect opportunity for you to do so.
All right, I'll match your plug for NET Plus service evaluations. Love to hear from the community about what you need. But I'll put in a plug for Jenna's webinar series, the NET Plus webinar series that kicked off early in the semester, is coming to a close tomorrow. Our grand finale is on procurement. That's of interest, I think, across the entire community, and not limited to specific services. So one more chance to join the NET Plus webinar tomorrow afternoon and hear about some of the things we have to help with the higher ed procurement. Or any closing comments? Anything the Pathify team wants to add that you wish we had covered, or anything that came to mind?
I'll just add, we're super thrilled to be part of this. It's been a really interesting evaluation process, I think, and we're here if you need us. We'd love to have a conversation, so don't be shy.
We could go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us today for the NET Plus Pathify webinar. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to our NET Plus at internet2.edu. We're going to go ahead and stop recording.